7, 6, 5. We're going to hurry. 4, 3, 2, 1. And welcome everybody to the Tris Brina Show. I be the Tris.
I be the Brina.
And guess what's going on?
Well, in tonight's episode, we are going to discuss, have you been feeling, has your body been feeling locked up?
Locked up.
Since we've been in lockdown.
That's right. Yeah, and you know, there's one thing we know about pain. Just one main thing that y'all need to know about pain, and a lot of the reasons for pain and stiffness and fatigue and other physical maladies. And you think that it's lack of movement, right, since the lockdown?
That's a factor.
It plays a role, but it's not the number one thing. So we're going to dig in and dive into that today.
Mm-hmm. And we're also going to show you a few simple, effective, at-home moves that you can use as a remedy for that pain and tightness in this blended way that we're going to share with you.
Yeah, you'll be, if you would like, getting up and moving with us. In fact, some of the movements can be done from a chair, and we'll show you what we do when we're feeling tight. I love this particular move I'm going to show. Sabrina's going to show one, and I'm going to show one. Mine is the one that I do from a chair in the morning, like right around meditation time, and I'm feeling kind of stiff and achy because I had a really, hardcore workout the night before, or whatever the reason is. Just some people, they're not as spry as Miss Sabrina in the morning, who jumps out of bed. Yay! Let's run around the house and do Zumba. That's not me at all. I'm like, let me get myself over to the meditation couch.
Yeah, but there's different levels.
Which one are you?
Of spry. There's different levels. Like, I might be feeling internally, yay! But there's days that externally, there's like half of my back is like, slow down, missus. Slow down. Show you movements you can do at home to help relieve the pain. But we're also going to talk about what's deeper than that. Like, why is the pain there to begin with? Yeah. Why is it that you always get that, I just get that catch on the right side of my back or the left side of my back? Or, it's always this particular knee. Why that happens, why it might be occurring right now, and how you can pull all of these pieces together for a really holistic solution that can last a lifetime.
Sabrina's got some movement that she'll be showing, and I'll be showing some movement. Some stuff you can actually do from your chair. If you were here earlier with us, you know about my mornings versus Sabrina's mornings are quite different. In the morning, Sabrina is more like the frisky, spry chicken. Yahoo! Let's face the day. And she runs out and kind of dances around with the dogs. I'm not kidding. It's really like that. My play is a little slower. I am excited about the day, but I just don't jump up and down.
He feels it on the inside.
I feel it on the inside, and I kind of move on over to my meditation spot. So we're going to talk about things you can do from your meditation chair, things that you can do when you're standing and you're up and you're moving. Cool? Okay, so I want to dig in with what happened to me in the beginning when we were told, okay, you go home and you stay in home, right? Lockdown. And I remember the day after that happened, I woke up in the morning with a ton of freaking pain in my back.
Yep, and it had been a long time. Well, turn that off.
It's all the way off, my dear. It's
okay.
completely off. Okay. So the pain is a weird thing for me because for so many years, and I don't know about your pain levels, but today I'm pretty much pain-free. I get sore and stiff from exercise.
So if some of you don't know, Satori Method online was sort of birthed out of a back injury that had Tristan and crippling back pain for 5 years. And a lot of the beginnings of Satori Method were sharing the healing modalities. So that's why this conversation, we talk about pain. If you don't know us, that's the history and the heritage of what you're hearing.
Yeah, there was a lot of pain. And most of my life, I was pain-free, but I had what you would call psychosomatic stuff. So my knees would hurt, or I'd grind my teeth when I was younger. I'd get really sweaty palms from being nervous. And it was how the mind affects the body. And so I always knew the mind played a big role in our health, but I didn't know how much it was impacting my back. So I did have a back injury, which she's referring to. And I thought that my pain at that point was very physical, right? Not mind body, but just body body. And so many, many years of trying all this physical stuff, I've learned a thing or two about physical modalities. And I know a lot about stretching. I know a lot about yoga. I know a lot about joint mobility. I know a lot about muscles and toning and all this stuff and all these different therapies because I had to try to fix my back. But along the way, I realized, oh, I better go back and look at those mind-body connections because it seems to me that this chronic pain is not going to go away. And so when this corona situation happened and we were like, okay, we're all going to stay home and it is what it is and we'll lower that bell curve. I remember waking up.
And you're not just we're all going to stay home. You're not allowed to go out. Like
there was that. There felt, the fear, the collective, the restriction. Can you relate? But you wanted to be home. You knew that this is safe and but there was all this weird fear, right? There's still, you can feel the ripple effect of it, but it was scary. And the thing that I didn't put two and two together, it was a couple of weeks in, but the day after, I woke up in the morning with that catch that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Same spot,
really tight, and it was clicking. And I was like, oh man, what's going on? And I thought, well, I haven't been doing my normal routine.
Yep.
I haven't been able to go to the gym. The gym had already closed. And so maybe it's 2 days in now. And I'm a pretty consistent type person with my routines and my rituals. We both are.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, okay, what's going on? So I started doing my stretches and stuff. And it was helping. But then I remembered, wait a minute. What's going on in my mind right now that could be affecting my body? And that's where this conversation wants to go, right? So then I remembered. There's all of this fear. We had just made a sizable investment in a coaching program, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, the week before. And we were like, you know what? With all the things that we were hearing, we probably should cancel that. And it turned out that we couldn't. There was a clause.
We were a day late.
We were 1 day
We were
past
day
the
8
refund.
instead of day 7.
And we were like, uh-oh. And so what happened was I started internalizing this concern and this worry. Now, we all have it in our own way, right? Where's my next paycheck going to come from? Right? Is my family going to be safe? Am I going to be safe? And so fear, internalized fear, can leach out into the body. My body has been used, my brain has used my body as a distraction mechanism to pull my attention, my emotions, away from concerns and fears. And what did it do? The thing that it always does. It uses my back.
Yep. It was
Raise your hand if you
weird to hear him say, my back hurts. I'm like, wow, that's been a while.
It's been years. I'm so grateful to have a healthy, frisky, some of you guys have seen what I can do, and I jump in the air and I spin and I kick bags and I do all this crazy, cool, fun stuff. There's no way. It was so painful again. And so I was having a lapse. Anyway, the big light bulb moment always for me is the brain-body connection. Brain-body, what's going on with me? And if you don't know this, when it comes to money and worry about money, money is a support structure in our lives. It gives us a sense of security and a sense of support. And I was noticing that my back is directly tied in to money. Because what is your back? A support structure, a system of security and functionality. And as soon as I saw the connection, I could break it. I had to do a couple of physical things with correct breathing that we'll show you today, but the pain left. And I wanted to share that with you because maybe you've had some looping reactive patterns that have caused irritable digestive situations.
Yeah, that's what I have.
You've had that. Okay, so what's going on?
Always, my emotions, I feel it immediately in my body. As a child, it was nerves, a lot of nerves about social interactions, going to school, not being good enough, not knowing who to sit with in the cafeteria. And I always felt nauseous. I always had diarrhea. But it can happen in an instant. I was at Trader Joe's when we got the message that we couldn't refund that investment, which just so you know is all fine. It's all fine. It's good. And I was remember I was right at the tomatoes, and I started shaking. Literally, my whole body started shaking, and I felt like I'll call it a shock, like from the bottom of my feet to the top of my head, and almost like a weakness, like I was just gonna plop on the floor. And I thought, we were on the phone. I'm like, well, how ridiculous! My body is freaking out right now with fear. Why? Because it heard some words. What are words? Just grunts and groans that we've interpreted to mean things, right? So I heard ugga mugga wugga and I got scared, right? But I interpreted those ugga mugga wugga as you're going to die, right? How are you going to survive? Or you're a victim. They're out to get you. The bad guys are taking advantage. This whole thing, but my body reacts so fast.
So fast.
So fast. I mean, especially the stomach stuff, and just this weakness where I just feel like I could just flop on the floor.
It's so weird when she has that happen. It literally, she'll turn white. It's just like all the energy and the blood drains out of you.
Yeah. And recently Tristan said something to me that really is so helpful. It's like, wow, how amazing that you can read your emotions that strongly. And I saw all the times, wait a minute, I don't really put it in the same category when I feel so great. When I'm at the grocery store and I'm like juggling the tomatoes because I'm so happy, right? So it's a good thing. It's not bad that our body, that we're so in tune with our body that it helps us feel our emotions, because they are signals. And it's a path, it's a roadmap. How horrible it would be if we didn't have a way to know what we were feeling, if we didn't have a way to put two and two together. So I've totally reframed my own sensitivity. Even those moments that you just might feel like crying, like I just feel so sensitive right now. Like if anybody says anything, I'm just barely there, right? And being really grateful, like, wow, my energy is that percolating.
Receptive.
It's that
So
receptive. It's so right there to focus on that which I do want, and to read it and feel it and to change it. And that's what we're really excited about to talk to you about, because those are really important elements in lasting change and aches and pains and stiffness and lack of movement. Because you can move all you want, and the pain might still be there, and unless there's this holistic approach.
As Kobe said, it's always the weak link. It goes to the weak link, doesn't it? It'll use the brain body. Yep. The mind is trying to help you. It's a defense mechanism. It's trying to pull your attention away, usually from emotions that you're not thinking you know how to handle. The thing is, we just need some upgrades, because we actually have a lot more tools than when those patterns originally started, usually when we were children. We actually do know what to do and how to handle them. We have emotional release techniques, and we have reframing techniques, and we have connecting to source force, love force energy. So all is well, but the old habit can show up. The key is to catch it and to use it. I love your reframe. To me, I see it like that. It's a barometer. It's kind of letting me know, like a temperature gauge. Mm-hmm. Susan says, yep, I keep forgetting that the pain can be mind over matter. Melissa says, oh my gosh, Sabrina, I hear you. No kidding. The shaking bit.
From words.
Donna, I feel you, Sabrina. It happens to me sometimes. And what a great perspective, said Melissa. So what I now love is that mechanism is telling me, go within.
Yeah.
Go within and do some rewiring.
Yeah.
It's like brain body rewiring. The tool that to me is the great elixir is the breath. Mm-hmm. The breathing, the energy inside your breath. If you think of breath being pregnant with life force when you draw it in, and you have to do that with your awareness, because everyone's breathing all day long and they're not aware that inside the breath is this force of life. And if they were, they would be Qigong masters. We all would, right? Masters of energy. But when you become mindfully aware that I'm inspiring, I'm drawing in spirit energy, and I'm letting that energy move into my cells and into my tissues. And you just took a nice deep breath, because that's another piece, is the sound. The sound of the breath will recalibrate the signals between the brain and the body. This is my jam. I mean, I love talking about this stuff because it saved my life. Yeah. My brain was keeping me in lockdown. You see, the pain body prison starts here. Yeah. Now, is movement your friend? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You want to marry the movement.
Yeah. And knowing that it's like almost like multiple yous may be present, multiple me's really takes away the judgment. So in that moment in Trader Joe's, I felt like I was watching myself, my body start shaking. And I was able to say like, oh, wow, the little Sabrina is scared. Little Sabrina just got information, and you get to be that like soul parent, that innermost being, that higher one that helps lead all the other pieces.
So I was talking about breath being the great elixir. So just take a moment and take a breath and be mindful of that flow. On this show, we talk a lot about the breath, breathing deep in the diaphragm, using the diaphragmatic breath. We've talked about reverse breathing. We've talked about breathing and pulling it up the spine, all these different beautiful things about breathing. But for now, just now, see the breath as a way that you're drawing in a relaxing, healthy, healing vibration. And I see it as a white golden light. So I told Sabrina years ago, this is way back when we lived in LA, I started coming up with this process to help with that psychosomatic condition that I found out that I had, that I would worry, I would stress, and therefore I would create problems in my body. And I had a teacher, a martial art teacher.
And it happens a lot to overachievers and caretakers.
Yeah, people who are super responsible and perfectionistic. And that would be me raising my hand, all of the above. This teacher, she said that if you could catch it in the moment, recognize that you're looping. And this, so those of you who are students in the Life Force Mastery Dojo, you know mental kung fu. That was the first step. She was like, you need to catch it. You need to recognize that you're going into this pattern. Mm-hmm. And the barometer, the feedback, I would feel pain in my knees. My knees used to, and it was the weirdest thing. If I would have shorts on, this is not going to make any sense, but this is the truth. If I would have shorts on, and I had pain in my knees, I would worry about my knees because I could see them. But if I had martial art pants on, I didn't have pain in my knees. Is that weird or what, right? And so I'm like, this is crazy. I'm creating pain in my knees by thinking that I have pain in my knees. So I first started to realize the power of the mind.
It's not crazy, though. It's genius that you could recognize the... just when you see something like that, right? We all have it. We all have these things where you're like, seriously, Sabrina? And you know, like, that's a little cray-cray. but by seeing it, then you are in power.
It's so frustrating, though, when you have chronic pain and you know that there's a brain-body thing going on, but you're not sure how to reset it. So that was the journey, was trying to figure out how do you work the brain in such a way that it'll send the right signals to the body. Because you can do all the physical things, but if the brain isn't upgraded, the thinking process and the reactive process, it'll keep looping. So the first step was really to catch it. And so then when I would catch it, the next thing that she had said is to know that all is well, there's not a problem. And that's where you have to refute that old dialogue that says you have a problem, you have bad knees, you have a bad back, oh, you're whatever. And I'm like, no, everything's okay. And then this is when I started learning about energy work, but I didn't know Qigong yet. She had said, visualize energy flowing through your body. So that's sort of the beginning of my Qigong and mental Kung Fu thing. And then it grew and it improved a lot once we had to go through the back healing. Because then I started to figure out, you can move the Qi with the breathing. So my technique was catch it, refute it, take a nice deep breath, and release that negative thought. Okay, so let's start there.
Okay.
Do you want to have me do a move, or do you want to start? We're going to show you guys a couple moves. Do you want to do the hips that don't lie? Or
sure.
Shall we? Yeah? Okay. So this is for those of you who are super mobile, or you're not and you're in pain, then you're going to do a standing technique with Sabrina, and then I'm going to do a sitting one after.
So what I have noticed is that when it's actually usually my back, and I just think the poor back gets blamed for so much. I actually think it's my upper glute. It's where my booty connects to my back, and from sitting, the back gets compressed, and I sit at a desk. You know, when you're not moving, most of the time you're sitting. And my hips get really tight and my hamstrings get tight, and that's when that area feels locked up. The symptom that I would have is going from sitting in a chair or sitting on the floor, maybe just like getting up quickly and walking. It's like, oh, let me just take my time and get all the vertebrae stacked, and then I can go. Or I would notice it if it was happening in the middle of the night. If I got up to go to the bathroom, that I would kind of want to lean to one side and put a hand on the other. So I was stabilizing the issue. Now I really understand that it's that my hips are tight, and so I'll show you what I do.
Yeah, tight hips. Are you you're doing hips and hip flexors, right? A little bit of the hip flexor stuff.
You're just gonna have to see.
You're just gonna have to see. Now I'm gonna be the cameraman here and get focused on you.
Well, I'll tell you some weird stuff that I do. It's not that weird. So I'm always looking for space, right? I want lots of space. I want a long back, which means I might want a shorter front, as a posture from doing gymnastics would be arching too much, right? So things that I do to sort of, the cat-cow in yoga, but you don't want to get down on all fours because then you got to get back up. I like to grab a door handle, maybe lock the door, or a refrigerator handle is actually best. Not
if you stay back there, it'll keep you in focus.
Okay, stay back there.
Stay back there.
Not the way the refrigerator opens. Close it and go to the other side. And I like to grab the refrigerator door, and I like to pull. And as I'm doing that, I'm tucking the tailbone, and I'm creating in my mind space. Lots of air, lots of space.
And I don't know if you guys can hear her breath.
That feels so good. And I could never get that much leverage without that door handle. Sometimes I do it in the car holding the steering wheel, and I just create that space. Okay, so that's just the little thing. But what we wanted to show you were the hips. Okay, so I find that I need some side to side, right? Because in life, we rarely move this direction, right? We're always moving forward and back. So this is where I get tight. So these hip circles, where I hinge a little forward, that's stretching the hip flexors, and taking it around.
Now circles.
And usually it'll go like click, click right there. And the slower that I go, the more benefit I get. And breathing and relaxing. And I feel this opening up right in here. What would you call this?
Inner thigh.
Inner thigh. And when that opens, my back relaxes immediately from these hip circles. You can't do too many. You're allowed to do it 10 times a day if that feels good to you. My knees are bent. There is no strain at all. It is completely pleasurable. Wherever the tailbone is, the head is in the opposite place. See, hip, head. Hips, head. Hip, head. Oh, it just clicked. Did you hear it?
Sabrina's incredibly physical. Like, a lot of her healing will come through movement. So that's her, and me too. She will catch those brain-body connections right away.
Mm-hmm.
When she has tightness, usually this type of movement will free up her hips and her back right away.
Yep.
It's one of my favorite. It's in our program called Happy Healthy Back, but we do it with a chair. Sabrina will show you with a chair.
Let me move my hips around.
Well, you know how we do it from the back, holding onto it, and we do it.
Do it like you do it in the chair right here.
Yeah. So you can have. Obviously, that chair is not super stable, but if some folks, their bodies hurt quite a bit when if I was sitting on the chair, it would be more safe. You can use the chair for extra leverage.
Would it be more safe?
This chair is going to go sliding. Kids, don't do this at home. So there's more.
Ooh, that's so good.
So you can get all that. So you can get that swinging back technique she showed you off the door, and you can get really a lot of dynamic mobility from the chair.
I've got like 3 adjustments.
Okay, I'm going to get off the chair now.
You can add a little arm motion.
But that's really nice if you've got a heavy chair or something you can hold on to when you're doing that one.
Do you want to switch places?
Sure. Okay. I'll use your chair. You take mine. So remember I said in the morning, whee, that was fun. I like to find my meditation spot while Sabrina's jumping around. She's actually right here in the morning doing her dance fitness. Whee, whee. I don't know what she's doing. But I'm over there, and I have my earphones in, and I'm like, all right, you have a good old time over there. I'm going to do this. So what I do is I sit on the edge of my meditation chair, and I put my hands on my lap. And before I tell you anything more, it's the breathing. So if I had tightness in my body, I want to recalibrate. Now, if it's just physical, then movement alone with some good breathing is fine. But if it's a reactive pattern, I have to be very mindful that I am not trying to fix the brain with the movement alone. Mm. I'm marrying the movement with the breath and the brain patterns, okay? So I'm checking in. Usually I'm doing some Qigong. I'm releasing, I'm getting my energy flowing. I'm recalibrating those brain signals with fluid breath, and I'm reminding myself my body is fine. My body is all good. I'm just sending those positive, healthy signals, natural signals from my brain to my body. So I breathe in, and I listen to the sound. And that sound is shifting my brain state. It's pulling the chi in. It's clearing any stagnation and blockages. I'll do it again. Now on the exhale, I'll go into my body. And I'll just lengthen through here. And I'll probably say a mantra. I am able, if I was in pain. Or I would say, I am flexible.
Yes, Sandy, you marry the movement with the breath.
I would use my hands, bring my body back up slowly. Now look what I'll evolve this. So as the blood's flowing, the movement's happening, now I'll come out of the chair. So I'll breathe in. Let my neck hang. Look, I'll come out of the chair. I'm getting my hamstrings. And I'll let my body hang.
Look what I can do. Look what
I can do. And then I'll sit back on the chair, right? So many progressions, many levels depending on your level of health, your level of mobility, your level of pain, right? Now watch the next one. And by the way, Betsy asked about the neck. By decompressing my spine hanging upside down, I'm lengthening the vertebra on the neck. There's many neck techniques, but this one, just watch again. I'm going to put some pressure in my feet, let my head go. Now I'm in my legs. Look at my neck. Can I see it? Mm-hmm. Shake my neck free. Now, rather than sitting down this time...
Look like a man who hasn't been able to have a haircut in a long time.
I'm going to roll up. Look at how I'm rolling up. And stretch. And then I sit back down. I'm going to do it one last time. Listen to the breath. It's key. Breathe in. Stretch. Breathe Breathe out. Let your spine decompress, hang.
Yeah.
Shake it free. Put a little load in your legs. Bend them a little.
You could
Use your hands.
shake your head if you feel like you're holding tension in your neck.
Roll up. Watch. Now, do you remember how Sabrina was doing those circles?
Come down a little.
Right? How wonderful that is. Once things start opening back up and you're using the circles, they work hand in hand with these type of roll-up movements and breath because they're massaging the tissues and they're unwinding the tension. Look what you can do instead of just rolling down, and this will be the last technique, you can roll around. Now you might be saying, well, that's a little too much for my back right now.
Yeah.
What should you do? You put your hands here.
Yeah, Trudy just says Happy Healthy Back is one of her favorite programs. Most of these movements, I mean, much more in-depth, are part of Happy Healthy Back.
Look at the mobility, but the key is the breath and the mantra. All is well. I am able. I am flexible. I am strong. The back is not the problem. The tissues aren't the problem. They want to be reconditioned with breath, movement, and brain state. I gotta get my glasses.
Hey, you can wear mine.
Thank you. I think that's gonna make us back to normal. Oh, that looks pretty good.
It's the top of our
Okay,
head.
how are we feeling? Did you guys do some of those?
Tip it up a little.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you do them, or did you watch it like late night talk show? It's okay, whatever works for you.
So that is a little bit of what we call mind-body magic, because the magic comes, the freedom of movement comes from retraining the brain that it's safe and that it's not a physical thing. It's like letting go and releasing and filling your body with this beautiful energy with movement. It's like reminding the body, everything's fine. There's no problem here.
Yeah.
You're resetting.
You know, in our programs, we talk a lot about two minds and two bodies, the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, the physical body, and the energy body. And different people are more sensitive, or one of those areas, the door is more wide open than others. I'll give you an example. Rita, that's here with us, I also call her Mom. She really, the energy work gets her such fast results, even things like acupuncture. So that's like such an entryway for her. And that's why we use a lot of the energy work and the Qigong and the breathing in programs like Happy Healthy Back. For me, I've been so physical, so muscular, skeleton. If something is bothering me, almost if somebody just touches that spot and kind of moves it for me, that's going to move the needle so fast. There's other people that the fastest way in is like through the subconscious, through the mantras, or through understanding and learning, or through the breath. It doesn't matter your main door in. It's that once you get in, it's the blending and the marrying of it together that's going to give you the lasting results. Yeah. And that's the magic of the mind-body magic.
That program is probably...
What's Happy Healthy Back?
Happy Healthy Back. We focused it on the back because that's my story. That was the journey. But it's so much more than that. It's about the whole mind-body connection at the deepest level of our research, from so many years of studying all the different modalities and different doctors and mind doctors, as well as body doctors and Qigong medical doctors, and just all like creating a fusion through what Sabrina said, the two minds and the two bodies. And we're all wired differently. We're the same but different because we have different patterns. We've had different
life experiences,
stressors, old injuries, movement patterns, different athletics we did. Like we're kind of all made up differently, but the brain body, the way the communication works between the brain and the body and the breath, that's the same. And so you might need to look through the lens of your energy body first. You may have, like I had, an energy block. I had an energy cyst in my spine. Now, did I also have physical tissue issues? Yeah, it was compound for me. It wasn't just, I need a massage and I was fixed.
But what's great is because you entered through the energy door, he was when you're in such pain that you physically can't move, there are still things that you can do to get your mobility back through the energy work. It's so much more gentle.
But for me, I was looking for permanent relief. We got me out of pain. Mm-hmm. Okay, check. I could do most things, like I could go to the store again, I could drive my car, I could sit in a chair without a special pillow. But is that enough? And I was like, well, I'm so grateful. I don't want to end my life now, because I was pretty miserable, guys. But what about, like, riding a bike, going surfing again?
Taking out the trash.
Yeah, being more useful around the house. What about punching a bag again? What about kicking? Mm-hmm. Like, could I do all that again? And I was so determined to heal myself that I just kept going with it. And I really, together with Sabrina, we uncovered what we call Satori Method, which is those two minds, two bodies, all coming from the one love. And the one love is the ultimate healer, is the connection to source, right? If you're blocking off the energy flow, you're going to suffer. But that energy flow isn't just in the physical body, it affects the mind too, mm-hmm. right? Because negative emotions are disruptions in that energy flow. Yep. But then when you're in disruption long enough, it loops back and creates physical. So you end up in these vicious cycles. So I think mind-body magic is such a gift, and I'm hearing here in the chat so many people saying, this has helped me, it's one of your favorite programs. And we were saying the other day, we produced this program, and then we put it in the vault.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't even think it's in our store. It might be now, I don't know. But it's been in the vault, and we're like, we need to take it out of the vault. There's a lot of people around the house right now who are probably feeling stiffness and pain and tightness. So we just took it out of the vault. So if you guys want to check it out, I don't have a special link for it. Oh. I could make one. If you're
SatoriMethod.com/happyback.
Try Happy Back on our website. If that's not it, I'll make it work.
Yeah. Anyway. SatoriMethod.com/happyback. We actually had a lot of people, people reach out to us through email, and there are a lot of people right now experiencing pain, stiffness, inflammation, worry, not being able to sleep. So we thought, let's make that program available, and we have a coupon code. It's normally $297. It's $200 off all week long. So if you know anyone, if someone you love, or you hear somebody saying, I just sometimes get this catch, what the program can do for them if they're in tremendous pain is module 1 really lets them sit and work on the breathing and more of the qigong and the energy work, and then it moves them through being able to move sitting in a chair, and then standing, using the chair for leverage like I did, into some more advanced just standing circular mobility. And then there's a bonus of like advanced floor work that I filmed. So it really is like a program that can last a lifetime. But if someone's saying, I don't know, I'm just scared to move, it's also really great for them because it lets them move the needle forward. When Tristan just said about, it's so important that you're connected to source, I think gratitude really helps the healing. And sometimes when we don't feel good, we feel like a victim. Why is this happening to me? And I think that compounds the problem because we start thinking that we are the victim and that we can't move. So the program has affirmations and mantras and gives you something positive to focus on while you're doing the movement. And that's what I really love about it, is you can't go through the program without really getting positive results, because we're like making you think something while you move something and be aware of your breathing. That's probably why everybody in the comments are like, I love this.
You guys
program.
are awesome. It's all that and so much more, said Barbara. Well, Happy Healthy Back is a fantastic program. Thank you, Susan.
Well, I think Trudy's the one that you really kind of brought it to our attention, because you got a copy of it. So we just made it like last year. And then I think we offered it once. And then we were like, why aren't we sharing this?
I have been wanting to make that program for years and years. And we started creating all the Qigong courses because that was such an important part of the healing. But I wanted to be able to give something to humans that were going through what I went through, what you went through. You've been through so many back stuff. So it's a collaboration. Anyway, there's a link if you would like to get that for a friend, or you don't have that program.
Oh, the coupon code is Happy Back, I think.
And the coupon code's on the page. So you got some cool moves there. I really think the key is to, if you've got the chronic type of pain, okay, that's what this program, of course, all the movements are great for your body. There's tons of circles in a chair, standing supported with a chair, without a chair, right? It's great for your whole body, period. But if you have been looping or you know somebody in chronic pain, even if it's not back pain, I think the master class that comes with it that talks about some of the concepts that we discussed here today on a much deeper level, it could probably get them out of those looping patterns.
Yeah, if you have the program and you haven't been using it, you can sort of say, you know what, I feel pretty good right now. I just don't want to have an issue. I want my body to stay really flexible. Then I would say just jump in a couple times a week and do module 3, module 4, or maybe the advanced. And that would probably, it's not going to take you more than 15 minutes. And I really think doing that like a couple times a week is going to keep your structure very strong and healthy. And then if you think it's really related to the emotion, then I would go watch some of the introductory videos, because just hearing something sometimes, that educational component helps rewire your brain and will help that shift happen.
Guys, I'm so grateful to read what you're sharing about this program. I love that we have these. I love that we can do the connection and the trainings, and that we have other things that you guys can take and go much further. Yeah. I'm so glad we've created all of these things. Seriously. And that we can do these specials during this time. Ron says, I feel like you made it for me.
Wow, that's awesome, Ron.
Yeah.
It was a really cool program, the way it was made, if you weren't there. We wanted to make it, but at the time we wanted the portion of it to be really live and experiential. So the parts of it were done live, and parts of it were done in a studio.
We're sending you so much love all day today and yesterday, Rita. It was yesterday she went in. Right?
Yep.
All will be well. All will be well. All right, sweet friends. I just wanted to put a little bit of this awesomeness on the screen here for you guys to read.
Yeah, Susan Strayer, I want you to know that I got your message, that your house has been devastated, demolished. You're living in a hotel, and yet you're still logging in. Wow.
Yeah,
appreciate you. Much love to you.
Much love to everybody. Thanks for joining the Trispina Show. And
Trispina Show.
Hey, we don't have that
Thursday.
Song. Yeah, we need a new song. I've got the.
I got tons of songs.
Happy Healthy. What? No, not the Happy Healthy.
Oh, yeah, you got that. Yeah, that
What's
Reese Witherspoon song.
Big Little Lies.
Yes, everything will be okay. That was my Facebook post today.
Yes.
We're all going to be okay.
All will be well. Much love, gang.
We'll see you next week. We actually sent out an email today that if you click the link in the email or you click the image, you're added to a list so that you'll be notified when we do things like this. If you don't click the link, we ain't going to tell you.
You want to get on that list. It's a good list. It's a fun list. We just don't want to bug people with stuff they don't want. So if you want this, click the link. It's in your email. Bye now. See you soon.